Most people who struggle with binge eating and sticking to their diet and eventually quit even like eating healthy and trying to lose weight often go through a thing called diet burnout. And so I'm going to be telling you exactly in this video how I avoid diet burnout, because I used to be someone who used to always binge eat and always go through these cycles of like sticking to my diet and locking in for weeks on end or whatever, and then going through phases where I'm binge eating like once every single week, twice every single week, and like losing in all the progress that I would make throughout the week. And so I'm going to tell you exactly how now I have eliminated my binge eating cycle and how I avoid burning out from my diet. And so the first thing you need to realize is that consistency always beats perfection, because perfection is not for humans. Cool? Not for most humans, not for me, probably not for you. And so let's say your calorie target every single day is 2200, right? Okay? Just because you hit 2300 on one of the days, let's say today you accidentally go 100 calories over, it does not mean that you can go to 4000 calories now. That's the biggest problem that I see with people nowadays, and the biggest problem that I used to have with myself. I always think of myself as a perfectionist, and so if it's not perfect, and it doesn't matter anymore, right? If it's 100 calories over, might as well be 3000 calories over. And so you give your brain this like guilt-free pass, like, oh yeah, I already ruined it, might as well ruin it even more. But I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, right? If you go 100 calories over, you're still in a calorie deficit, right? And so why are you going on a surplus and going on such a high surplus that day that you're ruining the progress of today, yesterday, the day before, and maybe even the day before that? So why'd you struggle for 3 or 4 days of feeling a bit hungrier and limiting yourself to the food that you said you were gonna eat just to ruin it in half an hour, right? It doesn't make sense. And if you really are that hungry, are you eating just because you cannot satisfy your cravings, right? Then instead of doing 3000 calories, right, just because you went 100 calories over, give yourself a refeed day. Just like decide that day, you know what? Not all battles can be won, but we're gonna win the war overall. And so I'm gonna lose today on the deficit of today, and I'll just eat at maintenance today. Let's say your maintenance is 3000 or something, right? Let's assume it's an easy number. And so yeah, I'm gonna eat at 3000 calories today, because tomorrow, and it's fine even if like all the extra calories are like all carbs, right? You know what, it's fine. I'm gonna look more bloated tomorrow. I'm gonna be heavier on the scale. There's a bunch of water weight, a bunch of like food weight in your stomach as well, or in your digestive system. But you know what, that's fine, because I'm gonna consider it not a cheat day but a refeed day, right? And it's intentional. It's not just because I couldn't control my cravings. It's because it's gonna make me feel better for the next few days, and I'm not doing harm. I'm not on a surplus. I'm just eating at maintenance, right? So then, what would you do? Most people, if they eat over their calories, let's say today you eat over calories. Most people, what would they do tomorrow? Tomorrow they would eat like 500 calories, restrict completely. I used to do this. I used to go on like 3 day water fast, right? I would have a crazy binge cycle on the weekend. I would like my Saturday and Sunday would be crazy high calories, and then I'll do a water fast on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just because I've done a 72-hour water fast, right? And not because like fasting is good for you, right? Apoptosis and DNA repair. Not because of that. Like sure, that was a side benefit, but I was doing it because I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to negate all the damage that I did on the weekend, right? But now I'm like, oh, no, whatever. If I ate at maintenance today, even if I ate like 500 calories surplus, you know what? It's gonna be a structural and intentional refeed day. We'll consider it as that. First of all, you're gonna stop stressing and overthinking because you're labeling it as something positive, right? rather than something negative. Oh, like I'm a failure, I couldn't stick to this, right? I'm not gonna hit my goal, right? And then what would they also do the next day? They would do crazy cardio and just torture themselves, go to the sauna, try to, you know, deplete all their muscle glycogen and all the water stores that they have in their muscle and their liver, right? But what would a smart person do in this case? Again, like we said, they would eat normally tomorrow, like the day after. If your plan is at 2,200, they would keep eating 2,200. They wouldn't like do the math and try to subtract from tomorrow just to make up for today. So they would still eat normally tomorrow, and the extra calories that they had today, they would use it tomorrow at the gym. Let's say I have a leg day tomorrow, right? You know what? That's good because I'm gonna use the extra energy for leg day, which is like so consuming, right? And I'm gonna put that into maintaining my muscle while I'm on a cut, right? Because that's important too. You don't wanna lose your muscle when you're on a cut. So you've given yourself a lot more energy that you can use the next day and have a great workout. When I started labeling it as that, then I would have great workouts the next day. Like I would actually start sweating and what's it called? Like I would put so much volume and so much intensity, right? Instead of like, the low intensity workouts that you get to at some sort of phase in your weight loss journey, just because you're so fatigued, so that even your intensity goes so much lower and your weights go lower at the gym. But I had an extra 500 calories surplus yesterday. I'm gonna go high, right? And then maybe you can even match the weight that you used to do before you started cutting. And so that mental reward loop is so much healthier for your mental state and for your just weight loss progress as well, right? Because if you were to do like a 500 calorie diet or like a 0 calorie water fast the next day and like 2 hours of cardio on the Stairmaster or on the treadmill, you know what? You are gonna make up for it, but you're also gonna be so fatigued and so hungry the next day, right? And so like, let's say I binge ate today and then I did the punishment tomorrow. The day after that, and I'm like, it's so likely that I'm gonna binge eat again and like make it even worse for myself than it had to be. But ever since I started to just treat the next day as normal, as if nothing happened, and just put all my effort into the gym session in order to actually retain the muscle that I want to retain, then it just made things a lot easier. And I stopped like being so anxious, right? It used to be so obnoxious. Like it would be the only thing I think about. Like my only personality was like, oh, I'm cutting, bro. I'm trying to lose weight. But like for most people, there's like other things that you care about, or there's other things that you should be caring about in your life. There's so many different other things to life than, oh, I'm just losing weight, bro. Like I'm just trying to get lean, right? Sure, that's a great thing. It's fun. It's cool to like see how much you can push your body and how aesthetic you can look and whatever. And that's cool, right? I'm not telling you shouldn't chase that, but shouldn't be the only thing you chase. It shouldn't be the only thing that has meaning in your life. And so you don't always want to always just think about that one goal. You want to think about other things that you're doing throughout the day, right? And so just giving positive labels to like something like a technically a cheat meal and calling it a refeed day, right? And maybe even like you might even consider putting like an actual structured uh, routine of like refeed days. Like I'll do it on my Sundays where I'll like calorie cycle and carb cycle and push everything, make it higher on Sundays so that I go into the next week feeling a bit more replenished, right? Nothing crazy, but I just feel so much better. And yeah, just using these positive labels made me start to overthink less, feel just mentally stable, and not care too much. Like if one day goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. And honestly, that mindset has made me binge eat less, has made me go off my diet less. Because the more you think about a thing, the more like you're really, the more you really like start to fear a certain outcome, for some reason that outcome just becomes more likely to happen, right? If I start to fear binge eating more, just the fact that it's in my brain more makes me more prone to actually binge eat. But if it never came to my mind, right? If it never came to my mind, then I wouldn't even go close to it, right? And I'm not saying it doesn't come to my mind. If I'm hungry, I'm gonna think about binge eating. I'm gonna think about whatever, Nutella or freaking whatever there is in the fridge, right? But yeah, that mindset shift of just like not thinking about it, right? Even though like it might sound like, oh, if you like you start like fearing it more and hating it more, you might not do it more. Just the fact that it's in your head and you're thinking about it, it just makes you more likely to actually do the thing, even if it's not like you're viewing it in a positive way. And yeah, I hope that helps. That's genuinely the biggest tip I have when it comes to avoiding diet burnout and cheating off your diet and going, being sidetracked. And so yeah, if you want to learn more on how to actually lose weight without destroying your health, and having good energy levels, being a functional, normal human being while still losing weight, then just click the first link in the description. It's my course where I teach you exactly how to do that, and I'll see you there.